Hey Jans, my name is Shambhavi and today I did this very beautiful wedding guest makeup look very much inspired by the Rani Mukherjee song Chalka from the movie Satya. To see how I created this look, let's roll into the main content. I'm filming from one hand so I can only use my one hand. So let's roll into the main content. First things first, skincare. Obviously, I use this biotique toner to calm her skin down, and then a rose spray because she was really dehydrated, and I layered a layer of moisturizer onto her skin. First the gel one and then the creamy one so that her skin will look very beautiful, dewy, glowy, juicy, and makeup will sit beautifully. Then I applied some lip balm onto her lips, and then I'll use this Nivea cream. I told you, a thick moisturizer, this is the one. Massaging it really well into her skin for the boost of blood flow, and the skin will absorb product more easily and beautifully. First I'll use this primer onto her eye so that the eyeshadow and concealer won't crease or pudge, and then I'll use this Inside Cosmetic concealer. First I use the LA Girl one for color correct, and then I use the inside one for that brightness and vibrant effect so that the color of the shadows will show up more vibrant and beautiful. I'll start with this neutral palette. First I'll use this brown shadow onto the crease, buffing it really well, and I just wanted to define the crease just a tiny bit with the brown shadows. Next I'll use this vibrant palette from Mars, and I'll take this beautiful lilac purple color. I mean just a purple color, it's not lilac. I mean it is lilac but 30% of it. Okay, so much of definition in color. Then I'll take this beautiful electric purple colors and sketch a wing with a pencil brush. Very blown out, beautiful smoked out wing. Next I'll use this dark magenta color onto the crease and just defining the crease with a little bit of purple lilac shade for that monochrome look. And then I'll use this beautiful yellow shimmers, and it is very champagne gold shimmer, and I'm going to use it onto the space where she don't have any shadow. Just buffing the color to it. Then I'll take this beautiful, I mean how many times I'm going to say this word beautiful. Let me just stop. I'm drawing a okay, I give up. I'm drawing a beautiful liner with the lilac shade. It is actually a concealer color corrector palette, but I use it more often like a liner or just to design any kind of wing or design onto the face I want. And then I use this okay, I give up again. I'm just drawing a liner, black liner, to pull out the look together. Starting with skin makeup base, I'm going to use this pore filling primer onto the nose. She actually don't have any pore, but even if she has a little bit, I just want to close that. And then I'll use this Inside Cosmetics primer, 3-in-1 primer, which is very moisturizing and hydrating. It doesn't does any of that job, but it is very silicone based, so it gives very smooth effect onto the face. Then I'm using this Nykaa and this yellowish glow. I mean, let me explain you what I did is I just took a orangish, bronze shade and yellow shade and just mix it together for that perfect beautiful highlight. And you can see how skin like this looks. I'm just buffing it onto her skin really beautifully. And right now she looks a little bit oily, but just in a minute she will look perfect. And I'm color correcting her eyes, under the eyes, with a peach color corrector, and then I'm using an orange tone around her mouth because she has very dark pigmentation, because she is a very dry skin type and she drinks very few glasses of water. Buffing and blending, and with the same brush, it has a little bit of that color orange tone, so it will cancel out darkness around her under eyes, and it will mix with the concealer. It will make the perfect tone to cover any darkness around her eyes. And then I'm using a very thin base foundation. It is buildable, but I'm using it in very thin layers because she don't actually need that much of foundation. Blending it with a kabuki brush and really working in a thin layers and very focused around the areas. If I work in one areas, I work in one areas until and unless it doesn't blend really properly, and I keep the brushes really light and airy. Next, I'll carve out her features with a cream contour under the cheekbones, nose bridge, nose tip, under the jaw, defining the jawline, and a little bit onto the forehead. And I'll buff it with the same foundation brush I used it for blending the foundation, because it has a little bit of foundation, so it will melt the product into her skin really well and make it look more natural and seamless. Next, I'll use a little bit of concealer, not just a little bit but a little bit more than usual I do, because it is a medium to buildable coverage concealer. Blended the product into her skin with the lightest pressure, just buffing it very gently. You will see the result will be very beautiful and natural. The least pressure you give onto the makeup, the more beautiful, natural and seamless it looks. Next, I'll use this loose powder and bake a little bit with it so that the concealer won't budge or move throughout the pore. And then whatever is left onto the brush, a little bit, I'll buff it across her face. Then I'll use this bronzer to bronze up her skin, and I am applying it onto the areas where I contoured, just to give more dimension to her face. And powder and cream mixed together gives the most longevity to the makeup. Next, I'll use this blush with pink peachy lavender pinky shade of blush onto the apples, just a little bit onto the nose tip, and a little bit of magenta color under her eyes to tie the whole eye makeup together, and just buffing the excess powder and bake. I'll finish the base with the setting mist to melt the powder into her skin and make it look more beautiful and seamless. Then I'll use some highlight onto the highest point of her face, like cheekbone, nose bridge, nose tip, chin, cupid's bow, and whatever is left I'll buff it onto the sides of her face. And that's it for the look. I hope you all find it helpful. See you all in my next video, and thank you so much for watching. Just applying some mauve lipstick and I'll mix it with concealer for that perfect shade.